Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Around the Sphere. I'm your host, Jose Trujillo. Our panelists today include Alex Valle, Georgia Blair, Austin Turner, and Sara Biela. We are a few days away from the start of the Mountain West Basketball Tournament Championship at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas. Let's first discuss the first round for both the women's and men's team. Let's first start off with the women's. First round. As of right now, they are potentially seeded to be a number 10 seed, and that will give them a matchup against Nevada on Sunday at 4:30. Let's start with Alexander. What do you see out of Nevada, and what do the Spartans need to do to come out with the first round victory, Alexander?
Well, the Spartans only have 5 wins on the season, so 3 out of 5 of those, they were able to shoot very efficiently, 45% from the 3. And I think they're going to need to repeat those performances like they will against a good team like Nevada. Also, they're going to have to hold them to a low three-point percentage because Nevada is last in the conference at 28.5%. So exposing that hole that Nevada has in their offense, the Spartans will be able to win. 2 players to look out for on Nevada's team is Jade Redmond and Teray Briggs, both high-scoring athletes. Jade at 14.8 and Teray at 13.5. Jade leads the team in points and is second in field goal percentage at 44.6. So shutting her down is going to be a tough task for the Spartans.
Georgia?
I think the Spartans really need to rely on a couple of players that have been finding late form. Alex Valle and Danae Marquez, both with the last couple of weeks finding form in shooting. Valle had a career high 31 points in the game at the Event Center last week, and it'll be important for her to shoot beyond the arc and continue to do so moving into the tournament. Danae Marquez also had a career high 15 assists in that game, so it'll be important for those players to continue with that form and continue into the tournament, taking that through.
Austin?
I agree with Georgia on that. Danae Marquez is the key for the Spartans. When she plays well, everyone plays well. Her assists have been going up recently. Her turnovers going down. I think it's important she plays well. When she plays well, she distributes the ball to, Megan Anderson will get open threes. She can throw it to Michaela Wilson, Sydney Lewis in the post. Defense shouldn't be an issue. They've been playing defense really well lately. When they played Nevada early in the season, it was a 3-point loss. I think the Spartans are playing their best ball right now in the season. They won 3 of the last 5. I think, obviously, offense is key because they only scored 49 points against them last time. If they can, get the ball in the paint more, open up those 3-point shots, I think they have a good chance.
Sara?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone has said. They have really good momentum going into this tournament. Like Austin said, winning 3 out of their last 5. One thing that I do think they need to focus on, as Alex pointed out, was the 3-point shooting. They are last in the conference at 28.5%, so we need our 3-point shooters, Benale and Megan Anderson, to step it up and take more shots from beyond the arc to do that.
And what team do you guys believe is a better matchup for the Spartans? Like I said, right now they're slated to play Nevada if they end up with the 10th seed. If they end up with the number 9 seed, they will play San Diego State. So which team do you think is a better matchup for the Spartans? Let's bring it back down, starting with Sara.
I'm going to go with, that's a hard one. I'm probably going to go with Nevada, just because we do very well from 3, whereas Nevada is, like I said, last. Whereas San Diego State is 3rd in 3-point shooting at 33.3%. So I feel that if we take advantage of the 3-point line, it would be to our advantage, and I think Nevada would be the better opponent. But yeah.
I'm actually going to disagree with that. I'm going to go with San Diego State. The Spartans just beat San Diego State 84-76 in the Event Center. Earlier in the season, they lost by 1 point. I think they match up very well offensively because the Spartans are great at shooting the three ball, as we've stated. They can also drive to the bucket. There is a size advantage for San Diego State. Zane Dornstadter, she has 33 blocks on the season. She's 6'3". She provides a matchup nightmare in the paint for the Spartans, but I feel like their ball movement makes up for that. I think that if they can get the three ball going, I think that's a good matchup for them in the first round.
I definitely agree with Austin. I think that San Diego State is the better matchup. Earlier in the year, the girls lost a heartbreaker in the last couple of seconds of the game against San Diego State, and then in their most recent game, they beat them, and it was a convincing win. They were ahead for most of the game, and I think, this late season form, maybe against a team that they know that they can beat, is probably a good matchup for them.
I'm going to have to agree with Sarah. I think Nevada would be the better matchup just based off of the play that they've had recently. They've been a better defensive team, and so holding, Jade and Teray down from their, 44% and 51% from the field, I think they'll be able to do that. But I think for San Diego State, I think Mallory Adams is going to be a problem with the 9 rebounds per game, third in the conference. So I just think that, the defense that they've been playing, Nevada is going to be a better matchup for the Spartans.
All right. And let's go into some predictions then. Let's say the Spartans do face Nevada. Give me your predictions. Are the Spartans moving on to the next round? Let's start off with you, Georgia.
I think whether they play Nevada or San Diego State, I think they're finding form late in the season, and with the Mountain West tournament, any team can come through. It doesn't actually matter what position you're in heading in, as long as the team on the day wins. And I think that their recent offense and defense, as Alex was saying earlier, I think they're going to get a win in the first round.
Austin?
I agree with that. The Spartans come in playing their best basketball of the season. They've won 3 out of 5. Like we said, I think they're both good matchups schematically. Outside shooting will be huge in both games, no matter who they play. So I think they're going to come out with a win.
Sarah?
Like the other two said, no matter who they play, I think it'll be definitely a close matchup, close game. It's not going to be a blowout or anything. So, just got to focus on outside shooting, like Austin said, and just taking advantage and executing on every opportunity given. But no matter what team, I think that they'll, come away with a win.
Alex?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with everybody else. The only problem is down low against San Diego State and the rebounding, but other than that, the way that these women have been playing, they've completely flipped the script on what they were early in the season, and I think they'll be able to at least pull out the first round wins.
All right. So all of our panelists have agreed the Spartans will move on to the second round of the Mountain West Tournament Championship. But now for the men's. Let's move on to the men's. Right now, they are slated to be number 11 seed, which will give them a game, against Air Force Wednesday at 4 p.m. If they do end up with the 10th seed, that means they'll play Colorado State on Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. First, let's start with that. What are Scott, these potential teams, Air Force and Colorado State, for the Spartans' potential matchup? Let's start with you, Sarah.
For Air Force, they've beaten the Spartans very badly at Air Force. So in comparison, I think if they are the 11th seed and play Air Force, they will have a tough time coming through with a win, just because of just how they played at Air Force. But like Georgia said, going into a tournament, it doesn't matter what position you're in. So the better matchup would be Colorado State, but it'll be a tough task against Air Force.
Austin?
I was at the game at the event center where the Spartans took Air Force to double overtime, lost a heartbreaker. And then pretty recently they played at Air Force, and Air Force just destroyed the Spartans. The Spartans do not play well outside of the event center. All their wins come at home. So playing in a neutral site in Vegas, I don't think they'll be able to pull it out. Who knows with the neutral crowd. but it's a better matchup for Air Force, I think, if the Spartans play Air Force. 'Cause, they'll be able to play the small ball lineup that's been working lately with Michael Stedman playing at the 5, Zach Chappelle at the point. I think that lineup's been really working for them lately. So they'll be able to play that against Air Force because Air Force doesn't really have the size that Colorado State has. Again, I think Noah Baumann would be the key in that game, as he is. Seems like every game, if he can hit the 3 ball consistently, and he's been having record-setting performances lately, then they can hang in there for sure.
Georgia?
I definitely agree with Austin. I think that big key for the Spartans is Noah Baumann. His performances throughout the season have been building, getting better and better and better as he goes. So I think that his performance is really going to make or break the Spartans as they go into this matchup, whether it's against Air Force or Colorado State. That game, that heartbreaker game against Air Force where they went to double overtime and it really could have gone either way. I think that Air Force is actually probably the better matchup for them. Colorado State's stats, first in shooting percentage, third in three-point shooting. It's going to be a tough game either way, but I would definitely go with Air Force as being the team that the Spartans can beat the first round.
Alex?
I'd have to agree with Georgia. Even though the Spartans did lose their last game against Air Force, I feel at halftime they made a lot of adjustments to the zone D, and they were able to close out on shooters, and they ended up outscoring Air Force in the second half. And so I think, Coach Prelude finally now knows what he needs to do to defeat Air Force. And I think, like Georgia said, with Colorado State third in three-point shooting and first in shooting percentage, that's going to be really tough for the Spartans, considering their defense isn't their strongest suit. And so with Air Force, the biggest problem is going to be Lavelle Scotty. 15.9 points per game, 50.1 shooting percentage, second in the conference. And he scored 25 points last game against the Spartans. So if they're able to have Scotty settle down and not get into his zone, then I think the Spartans are going to be able to at least be competitive throughout the whole game against Air Force.
So regardless of whoever they play, give me 2 keys that the Spartans are going to have to do good on, 2 keys for them to win, regardless of their matchup. Starting with you, Alex.
I think ball movement's going to be the biggest, getting it to either Noah or Stedman down low, and then also closing out on three-point shooters. It seems like sometimes the Spartans get lost on defense, and these teams really get in a zone on 3, and then the Spartans, once it hits halftime, they're not able to catch up, and they can't stay competitive once that happens. So I think closing out on shooters is probably going to be the biggest problem.
I definitely think that giving Bowman space to shoot is one of the major keys. If they can't get him the ball to shoot the open 3, then they're going to struggle. I think defensively they need to shut down either team in the paint and make sure that they're not getting open space either. So it's going to be a big defensive matchup, and I think that's the most important part for them.
Keeping in with the theme of defense, I'll give you 2 players that are huge for the Spartans. Number 1, Ashton Chastain. He's filling in for the injured Umar Berry. 6'11" center. His stats aren't great right now, but I'll tell you, he has a presence on that team. He's the emotional leader. He's been there. This is his 3rd year with the team, so he knows the ups and downs. He provides a physical presence for them on defense in the paint, which they had lacked pretty much the whole season. He had a rough start to the season. He's been improving every game. So I think if he plays well, the team plays well. The other player defensively that's huge is Bray Ivy. He's all over the place on defense. You see him. He follows the ball. He plays the hardest out of any player on the team. I think he can get steals. He can get blocks. He just provides pressure on defense. I think if those players play great defense, the Spartans can beat anyone.
Yeah, going off of the defense, whichever team they play, stopping those hot players is going to be key. And so the defense needs to step up no matter who they play. And also I would kind of expect a standout performance from Stedman, 10 double-doubles on the season, and, him stepping up, in every game this season. It should be the same in Vegas. So I'm hoping he has a good game to kind of, build the momentum and get his teammates hyped up, no matter who they play. So defense and Stedman kind of leading the offense.
Spartans are going to have their work cut out for them, that's for sure. But it's a Mountain West. Anything can happen, and we'll see what does. That will do it for our show. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at thespiritSJSU.com. At the Spirit SJSU. See you next time.